Distinguished guests, on my list we have Professor Isiaku, Director of Academic Planning, who is unavoidably absent. We also have Professor Umar, one of the principal officers of the University Librarian, who has just walked in. You are welcome. There is also supposed to be in our list Professor Y. Bambale, Dean of Student Affairs, and supposed to be represented by the HOD English? HOD English. Who should also be here in his capacity as the HOD of English and Literary Studies. Then HOD Theatre and Performing Arts, members of staff, staff of the Public Affairs Division and University Security Services, students, staff, and members of the great Creative Writers Club, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Well, this is an important association. It has been around for a very long time. We used to be members while we were students. We are still members. I'm not talking here in my capacity as the Dean of the Faculty, but as patron of Creative Writers Club. They are more interested in saying a word or two on the members of Creative Writers Club. They are drawn from different faculties, different departments of the university, and they are highly motivated students, highly motivated students who are very creative, very imaginative, very innovative. And to survive in the world that we are living in today, you have to aspire to be highly creative, highly imaginative, highly resourceful. If you are not one of these items that I've mentioned, you are out of the race. It is not enough to read books, but be very, very, very innovative, even in the way you read your books. Don't just absorb what lecturers are teaching you uncritically. Believe you me, I subject everything to criticism, be it our scriptures, whether it is the Holy Quran or the Bible. I subject these texts to criticism. If you don't do that, you'll be misled. Believe you me, you will be misled. In whatever you are doing, you need to scratch below the surface. Make sure that, because reality is there, it's not what appears on the surface. Is the essence rather than the existence that you should try to understand. If you're able to do that as potential writers, you'll be in business. So, let me stop at this point. You are all welcome to this occasion. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite the Secretary General of the CWC, the President of Musa Khalil Gambo. He's going to invite the Chairman of the CWC up. So, round of applause for him. This is Secretary General of the CWC.
Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My task here is to introduce the chief host of our panel discussion, our book chat, Muhammad Usman Nuraini. Okay. Muhammad Usman Nuraini, a 400-level student of the Department of English and Literary Studies, is a writer, editor, and public communications consultant He is currently the chairman of Creative Writers Club, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, doubling as the caretaker transition council chairman of the National Association of Art Students. He holds membership of several bodies, among which are Association of Nigerian Authors, ANA, Poets in Nigeria, PIN, and Northern Nigerian Writers Summit, to mention but a few. He works with Lagos-based Z Mirage Multimedia Limited, organizers of the annual International Cultural Exchange Project and essay competition held in honor of Professor Wole Soyinka under the auspices of Open Door Series as Northern Coordinator. As a firm believer in societal reorientation as the sure path to sustainable development, Nurain has interacted with notable personalities in Nigeria and has attended many development courses and workshops across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Muhammad Usman Nuraini as our host for today's lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalim. Ladies and gentlemen, we have forgotten to recognize the presence of the Deputy Academic Director of the University Directorate of Academics from the Academic Planning from the University Senate. You are most welcome, sir. My task now is to go straight into the heart of the matter, and I would like to invite Dr. Audee T. Giwa to the stage and take his citation. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Audee T. Giwa is an associate professor of English. He is the immediate past head of Department of English and Drama and former Dean of Students Affairs Division from Kaduna State University, a position he held for over 11 years. He was born on 2nd February 1961 in Giwa, Giwa local government area of Kaduna State, Nigeria. He holds a BA, an MA, and a PhD degree in literature, all from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Nigeria. His research interests include creative writing, African literature, and literary theory. He is the author of 8 books in this order: 4 novels, I Would Rather Die, Marks on the Run, From Particle of Love, and Yarinya. 2 collections of short stories under the title Ancestral Wrath and Love in the Afternoon, and 2 critical texts in the name in Zainab Al-Khali's novels and Alienation in the early writings of Amma Ata-Edo. He worked as an arts editor with the Democrat newspapers, editor with Ahmadu Bello University Press, and visiting lecturer in English at Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. He was also a visiting academic in the University of Essex in England. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Audee is a member of the Association of Nigerian Authors, the Literary Society of Nigeria, the Linguistic Association of Nigeria, Nigerian Folklore Society, Association of West African Book Editors, and English Scholars Association. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Audee T. Giwa is also a member of the ABU Creative Writers Club from 1983 to the present. It is my honor and privilege to welcome our guest for today's book chat in person of Dr. Audee T. Giwa to the stage and take his seat at the high table. Thank you. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, our book chat is going to be anchored around the book Yarinya, which is unarguably the most widely read text currently in Ahmadu Bello University, with over 10,000 students reading the text and are going to be expected to sit for examinations in the Gens 1 English and Communication skills. To this effect, the importance of this activity cannot be overemphasized. Without much waste of time, I would start by introducing or inviting the author of the text to read from the text, an excerpt from the text, from whatever passage.
Bello. Sorry, you have to pardon first the eyes, because I've been using them since I was born, and they're getting old. And the voice too, I have not managed to change it up to now. My tenor is normally fast, but if you want to listen, you have to listen fast. We will start from page 89, the last paragraph there. Luckily for us, the playlist that just took place has shaped and prepared our memory for what to expect. Pained and unable to contain the insults any longer, Malam Yusuf was about to stand up when Malam Abdullahi himself, horrified by his son's utterances, restrained him. Money, Aliyu continued. You think selling your daughter will solve your problems? You hide under the umbrella of religion and marry as many wives as possible, producing damn too many children, hoping that Allah will always provide. And when he refuses to provide, Malam Yusuf slowly got to his feet. I'm sorry, Malam Abdullahi. I can take any insult on my head. But when it comes to blasphemy, excuse me, I have to go. Solemnly, he walked out. I never thought I was bringing up a heathen in my house, Malam Abdullahi said, after Malam Yusuf had left. It is not enough for you to insult your elders, an act which in itself is Islamically reprehensible, but you even have the guts to blaspheme before me. But isn't what I said true, Father? Why should he go about producing a family he cannot support? Did he not know that even in polygamy there were conditions laid down by the religion? If you cannot take care of her, even one wife is not permissible for you. If everybody's economic condition determine how many wives they will marry, wouldn't the whole world have been save more crises of this nature? How is it that the absolutely rich and educated in our society marry just one or two wives and no more? And the hopelessly poor rush into polygamy as if it was a sure religious antidote against penury. Who sends them? I don't think this is Islam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, in 2017 and 2018, I was with you at the Kaduna Book and Arts Festival, where issues of religion, issues of the prevalent thematic activities in the post, especially with regards to responses to our religion, our cultures and tradition. Now, your book, Yarinya, no doubt corresponds to all other texts which have been the focus of the Kaduna Book and Arts Festival, especially talking about the Northern Nigerian experience. Your book talks about polygamy, forced marriage, and so many other activities within the North. What informs your Yarinya, precisely?
I think it's very obvious, even from the playlist. Yarinya is generic. For those whose linguistic circumference is very limited, they now know that in Hausa the word Yarinya means girl, a girl, not the girl. People in language like Jonah, my friend, has specified. The article is indefinite. Yarinya is generic. That is to say, because of her name, a girl or girl, she refers to any girl in particular. Now, what informs the church is simply because a lot of us grew up under polygamous system, and we have seen how it is practiced. Luckily for us, we've gone to school. We have known the precepts regarding polygamy. Then we have seen the way people practice them, and we know that there is a disconnect between the practice and the practitioners of polygamy. And people have been keeping quiet for too long. We believe that it's about time we educate the youth that the condition they find themselves in is not God ordained. It is their parents ordained. It is not God that ordained you to be where you are. It is the choice of your parents. And that is why I chose the passage I chose. And that's why I chose that passage, sorry. Because Aliyu's argument is what is prevalent on everybody's mind, all of us are afraid to talk about. Earlier, when the dean was making his introductory remark, there was something he said. It's very, very critical. You know, my dean is a controversial fellow all the time. He said, read whatever scripture you have with a hint of salt. Scratch beneath the surface. The reality is a given. It is what you make of the inference. Because even the malams and the pastors who are interpreting Quran and Hadith for you are doing it based on their critical perception of those books. So if they are free to interpret the way they perceive it, you are also free. That's why we are in school, by the way. Otherwise, I'd be a Mukurintara. Otherwise, your school is of no use to you. If you cannot critically stand out and analyze your own situation as a young man or young girl and challenge it why it is being trampled upon, then unfortunately for you, you are better off going to marry an large country.
Thank you. I wouldn't want to go into the institution behind writing the story because that is vividly captured in your brief story. Now let's talk about character. Why do you choose to give Yarinya the same character you gave her in the text, which is very uncommon in the North, for late for her age to rebel to her father?
Rebellion is ingrained in every one of us. When your parents ask you to wake up 6 o'clock to pray, and you decide to wake up at 6:30, that is rebellion. The faster you pray does not matter. What matters is that you are disobeying for praying not at the time they say you should pray. And even they are not obeying God because the time God says you should pray is not 6. It's 4:30 to 5, and they are not awake, all of them at that time. God knows what they are doing. You understand? So, for us to be able to bring out this rebellious element, so long as it is positive, I think it's the duty of every writer, every perceiving individual, and every parent, by the way. When your children are rebellious, it doesn't mean they are disrespectful. No, that is a period in which they are trying to understand what you are doing and what they are doing. And believe me, for most of us who are parents, it is better they don't understand a lot of things that you are doing. Because if they know how much you rebel against our own parents, they will discover they have not done half of what you do. So rebellion is ingrained in each and every one of us. And I'm one of those people who, God forgive me, I do not like my children. There are here about 3 or 4 of them are here. Sorry, let me digress a little. Why is Yarinya? Mamana, stand up, let them see you. So she's not be embarrassed. But you will ask me, is she the most beautiful girl on earth? Yes, and I feel even in heaven. That is the moment for Yarinya. Before you reach the question, I will answer it. Why was she chosen? She was chosen, one, because she's my daughter. Second, because she bears my mother's name. But more importantly, as my dean knows, because every other monkey I ask to come and pose as a model, they charge me money. Every stupid girl I say, come and be my model, you say, how much are you paying? What percentage are you paying? I say, look, I got pretty girls in my house.
Thank you. Well, your books talk about real issues which are very prevalent in our community and society. I would rather die, Marks on the Run, Practical with Love, talk about corruption, sex, and related thematic themes. I was saying that your books talk about real issues. Can we conveniently call you a realist?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we have a problem with terms. One day I was called upon to examine a master's thesis, and the man talked about socialist realism. Well, throughout the text, what he did was discussion on social realism. Now, social realism is depicting things as they are. Socialist realism is depicting realism as they ought to be, the ideal reality. The things that you think ought to be, the changes, the challenges. So if you call me a realist, as a creative artist, you're not doing me any honor. Because photographers are doing better job than me. That is realism. You snap my picture and give me the way I am. In fact, they made me look even better with Photoshop, etc., etc. So the creative artist is much more than a realist. Ideally, he should be a socialist realist. Portray realism with a view to changing it. If you are just portraying it as it is, then you have no business portraying reality. And why we are concerned about this aspect is that so many of our women have been writing, beginning from Zaria in 1902 to who is the latest now? Maybe you even know her. Shifa Dharma now at Kaduna State University. They know about the problems. They know about what polygamy does. They know about the issue of sexuality. They know about the prevalence of girl-child education. But they are afraid to bring out these issues because every writer stands the risk of being accused of being his own dramatist personnel. What I mean here is that if a woman writes a novel and there is an ashawo in the novel, people are likely going to tag her as the ashawo in the novel. You understand? And they want to shy away from this fact. I am not afraid of these appellations. If you like, call me whatever you want to call me. Right now, when they are describing Alhaji Tanku, he looks like me, by the way. When I saw his stomach, I said, this is not from my book. And the monkey was wearing white. You know what? It does not stop us from accepting the fact that there are issues in our society that need to be talked about. If you cannot change them, talk about them. I remember one time, our governor said, no matter what, Erufai, he said, no matter how strongly you feel about your condition in the society, as an intellectual, you can't change anything. If you want to change, come and join politics. Well, I'm challenging him. If you want to change, come and be writer. Because in politics, you make a decision today, after 4 years, somebody will come and reverse it. Yes. In writing, your book remains forever. Yes. Who can go and change text?
I think we are getting into the most enticing period. Your book was written, I learned, in 1986, over 30 years now. How were you able to reconstruct the book into its current status, retaining the same thematic preoccupation and appealing to the current generation of readers?
In the eyes of God, 30 years is nothing. In the heart of man, 30 years is nothing if you are old enough. What is interesting is that because God has privileged us to be alive then and be alive now, we are able to, with the knowledge of hindsight, look at certain things with the wisdom we did not possess as at the time. Do you understand? Now, I hope some of you who are at the Department of English will take time now, go back and read the acknowledgement. Professor Surakat, who is my HOD, actually literally held my hand and brought me to Ahmadu Bello University. And I dare say, if he likes, he can meet me outside. But everything I know, good or bad, he taught me. He started it because I never knew that you can get this close to your teachers. I never knew that your teachers could be this inspiring. They could encourage you. They could actually make you believe you are someone. You understand? And treat you like a human being, except when I made professor. Then, Mr. Surakat. I have not changed anything in the acknowledgement. You see his name is Mr. Now I cannot call him Mr. again. Now the point is that over the years, people are still committing sins the same old way. Fornication is fornication. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment. Forced marriage is forced marriage. Young age is young age. By whatever definition, a girl under 15 is too young to be married off by whatever cause. So the situations remain as they are. And you see, the saddest part of it is that in the North, we deliberately, by choice, refuse to develop. So we've got to tell these people that there is about time that we take a look and rethink into what we are doing to our children. If we cannot do it, let our children know that this is that they think they are doing, their parents have done it and it didn't succeed. So please, the young ones who are here today, try and change and listen to our children for once. Some of them are wiser than you, not some. Most of them are wiser than you. You understand? But they pretend for peace to reign, you are wiser than them. They pretend so that school fees can keep coming. They are older than you. They pretend so that whatever you're doing, you understand, you are doubting, you are dead, you are right. So long as you give out. You want to tell lies to your children. You understand? Perhaps among so many parents here, I'm the only one whose children are private by primary school report cards, secondary school. From the time I was taking 0 to last. The first time I was taking first and second. You understand? I think how many parents can do that? Remember, the lies we tell our children in the name of correcting them, they are still recorded as lies in heaven.
Thank you. Well, as a scholar and literary critic and creative writer, at the same time a public servant, how were you able to manage these multiple preoccupations to arrive at reconstructing and even writing works in your disposition?
Someone said that, I can't remember who, everybody has a story to tell, but everybody must not tell their stories. I remember this vividly, I can't remember. Mate, if you help me, Google it, you know who said it, it's not me. Everybody has a story to tell, but everybody must not tell their story. We began early. We began reading books even before we knew we were going to write. And I think the question is actually tilting towards what informed my preoccupation, how did I manage to sacrifice the time with multiple colleagues to write the kind of books I write. What is very simple, at mine is like a sponge or a cup. I prefer the cup imagery. If you have a glass or a tumbler and you pour water into it, slowly, you keep pouring, and the tumbler gets filled to the brim, and you don't stop. What happens is that the water will spill over. The human mind, the human soul, to books is like that. If you keep reading and you keep reading and you keep reading, and it gets saturated, like that cup, it is bound to spill over. That spill over is what we call writing. Another writing depends on what you have been reading. If you are religiously inclined, by all means read religious books. If you are politically inclined, read political books. If you are romantically inclined like me, write romantic. So why this is so, it's very crucial, because I discovered that people read what they like best. You understand? There is the House of Proverb, who can help me, librarian. Something about people touch you. What you set your mind to do is easy, different from what they force you to do. When we were in school, my teachers used to beat me for reading James Hadley Chase, for reading Agatha Christie, for reading Harold Robbins, for reading Dennis Robbins. They used to actually beat us literally. Believe me, some seniors were sent to beat us. University Librarian is one of them. I wish I would revenge now, sir. Because he was just 1 year ahead of me, and he was beating me like normal business. I will see you after this lecture. Now imagine, your teachers were telling you, don't read this, don't read this. What were they recommending for me? Reader's Digest. The most boring collection of stories I've ever seen in my life. So instead of it, we will now hide. And why do we like James Hadley Chase? It has naked women at the back. Half naked women at the back. And we were very young, 16, 17, 18. You can't stop a 16, 17, 18-year-old boy from admiring nudity, especially of a woman. If you do it, you are just wasting your time. Carry all the religious books I keep, you will pick the nude girl. One day it's your phone you will carry and be browsing porn pictures. So instead, let him know that there is a value to it. So what did we do? We read these books till we get saturated. And the matter we got saturated, the stories were begging to be told. You understand? You wanted to tell a story, but you know you are not James Hadley Chase, you are not Nick Carter, you are not all those people. So you had to localize. You had to write what you know. Now when you are writing what you know, you love what you are doing. You understand? Every time you do what you are doing, nobody can stop you. No amount of pressure or multiple responsibilities can stop you from doing what you have to do. The Dean of Faculty of Arts at one time
himself and I had to stay awake 3, 4 a.m. writing story for one of our monkey friends so that his newspaper can survive. It's not because of the friend, it's because we love what we are doing that. You understand? So even now, the advice is that whatever you set your mind to do, if you don't like it in the beginning, force yourself to like it. You have to. You know ugly music. Do you know what is called ugly music? Ugly music is the kind of music you don't understand. If you listen to it too often, it becomes sweet. Every kind of music, if it is constantly repeated, it tends to be sweet in your ear. So what you don't like in the beginning, force yourself. You want to write, go on. You discover that you create time for it.
Thank you. I'm very much aware of the time. I'm saying Maghrib, so we'll cut the discussion at some point. Now I want you to talk to us about your experiences in England, Saudi Arabia, and so many other countries in comparison with the literary intelligence, especially in the northern Nigeria, and how best can we improve the reading culture in the north?
Indirectly, I've talked about the reading culture. Read what you like. Anything. Whether it is read by the devil himself, if it is in English, read it. The dean has told you, read everything with a critical mind. That is about the reading culture. Find what you like and read. Now, the only thing I remember clearly about Saudi Arabia, which I want to share with you, was that when I carried my novel that time, Max on the Run, was the hottest thing in town, and it was a pretty girl again as usual. The Arab man saw it and said, no, this is haram, this is haram. I said, what is haram now? The head of the girl just head. He said, yes, I have to cover it. I said, cover what? He said that I know the kind of dangerous thought this image can generate in people when they see this. I said, a woman's face. I said, this is not Islam. Because I remember clearly, my Islamic knowledge was rusty, but even when the Prophet said, cover yourself, he said, with the exception of your face and your hands. Yes. They are interpreting, you see, this is what the deen was talking about. They are interpreting what the Prophet said to suit their culture. So when it comes to your own culture, do it very well. And in England, that is something that is very interesting. In England, when I went, I was welcomed, and Professor Hills and another creative writing lecturer, I was introduced. And wherever I went, especially if I'm traveling abroad, I carry 1 or 2 of my published texts. So this Englishman, I didn't know that he was the lecturer of creative writing. They said, what do you teach in Kaduna State University? I told him creative writing. I said, see some of the books I published while I was in Nigeria. He said, oh, you may even publish books. I refused to get the insult. I refused to see the insult. I said, yes, we do. And my students in the university are reading them. He said, are you sure there are no errors there? I said, let me see the book you have written. The man had not written any book. Now, this is not what the story is. He took me to his postgraduate class in Essex, University of Essex, Colchester, England, where Ben Okri won the PhD award without research. That's another story I must tell you. Ben Okri was an unheeding scholar. He was a creative artist without measure. They expelled him from the university. And then when they expelled him out of annoyance, he went and wrote the Feminist Road. The Feminist Road went ahead and won the Booker Prize. They called him back and gave him PhD. Because he has to be their student. This is how much they value hard work. In any case, this teacher of creative writing asked me to go to his class. I went there. You can imagine my pride. My only regret was that there was no videotape. I said, me, Audee T, Giwa. Do you know Giwa? It's one village about 25 minutes from here. I went to secondary school without knowing English. And there was I teaching Englanders. I'm not going to tell you English people. Black man like me teaching English people how to write. I said my mother should wake up from her grave. She must see this son of hers doing this business. But you see, you know, colonialism is a very dangerous thing. I could not ask any people to videotape me like I was asking my son to videotape this recording. It's only stories I have. But that's not what was funny. What was funny was that I taught that class for 2 weeks. The man collected his salary for 2 weeks and didn't give me $1 or £1. It was only when our head of department came and said, you've been teaching this class for 2 weeks. Are they remunerating you? Very big word, if you ask me. You should have said, are they paying you or something like that? I say, no, but I was happy as it is. He said, but Professor Hilms is collecting his money on your behalf. So I said, okay, fine. I went there to complete my PhD research, not to teach creative writing. But my day was done because at least one black man taught Englishmen how to speak and write English. That was my day.
Yes, now you've taken us into a very crucial issue. We are members of Creative Writers Club. Most of us are would-be writers, upcoming writers. Most writers in Nigeria and outside the world have a particular writing condition or influence. Some write under the influence of alcohol, some under the influence of romance, after having sex, and so many other things. As Audee T, Giwa, under what influence precisely do you write?
As you can see, without apologies, my children are here. From the day I was born to today, and I'm sure till I die, I am an unapologetic lover of women. I owe nobody any apology. You, my children, if I go and tell your mom, the worst you can do is to not give me breakfast today. But the truth of the matter is that the closest and unselfish love I have seen was first from my mom, then from my sisters. There were 7 of them, there are only 2 of us boys. Until today, my sisters, I'm almost 60 now, till today my sisters undress and dress before me because they know I'm harmless. I wish they were not my sisters. They will have seen the difference. Now, as God will have it, I got married again to a woman. I gave birth, my first daughter, to a woman. You see, all my life is dotted with these fantastic women that I cannot fail to say. People may be heartbroken and they can get inspiration from them. But all the women that came to my life, for better or for worse, fashioned my desire to love women more. Now, because I'm a very curious creature, the more you think you know, the more you don't know anything. And they begin to give you a permanent source of inspiration. Just when you think things are okay. The only monkey that is so protected on this earth is man. Believe me, right now, we are fasting, all of us are about to breakfast. If a naked girl will pass like this, whether you are a man or ustaz or pastor, your eye will just follow. Again, the greatest liars are men because they pretend that they are not looking. So believe me, it is the character. They give me an infinitely more interesting study than the male. So everything I do, the men are always to support side by side the women. Of course, we can't escape that. But it is the woman that gives me the course of study, and that is why my friend Ahmad, who is not happy with my covers, always women, 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 he rather I take abstract. Even the word itself, for God's sake, he said, take abstract. You know his book, State of the Annals. I know how much they got that Almajiri in front of that picture. He said, I said, what is abstract? I want my people to understand what they are doing. I want them to understand abstract is leave it to abstraction. Most of all, if you go to Sculpture Garden, you go back the way you came in. There are so many abstract things there. But to cut a long story short, I'm inspired by the women character. I love them, I will keep loving them. And in fact, there is no alternative.
And that's very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just a few minutes away to the end of this program. I would like to throw 2 questions, and that will be the end of this discussion. What do you expect from your readers who are all seated here as GENS students and as general readers, what do you expect of them?
Believe me, this is one of the most rewarding gatherings ever in my life as Audee T, Giwa, and as a writer. I am not talking just about the number. I'm talking about the planet. There have been talks from 1980 to today. By the way, I rather that was between 1980, when I was barely 19 years old. From that day to today, people have been saying that they want to stage, adopt, perform, dramatize my stories. This is the first time I saw it here and live, and I really appreciate it. And that was why I warned my son, don't miss a scene. Whatever they are doing, go ahead. Now, what do I expect? I expect a positive reaction. Whether you like it or not, books taught you in areas that you never thought possible. Books taught you beyond examination. The reading culture is there. We talk about it because we're in an academic circle. What do they do? If I was your teacher and they give you Yarinya to read, I will give you 10 additional books. And I will tell you, are going to ask questions from one. I don't know which one. You will be forced to read the remaining 9. Then at the end of the day, you will answer question from only one. At least that's where you have read 9 extra books. Now, the reaction I expect is for you to get touched, to get challenged, to get moved, to know that, yes, I have not just seen this monkey of an author, I have benefited from what he has said. If something he has shared about his life is similar to mine, and by the way, I'm sure what I have said has correlation with so many of you, you are just afraid to say it in public. Big time an attempt to write. You can't just pick your pen and begin to write because your mother died, because your father died, they are burying him, you carry the picture of your father on the grave. Oh, then why are there things? That kind of stupid rubbish should not exist with you. You write when you are emotively motivated. When it can't, it can't. But you say you cannot write if you have not been reading. It's as simple as that. How many of you can sing the song of your favorite whiskey, the band, and the rest of them without listening to them over and over again? Even in music, you have to listen to it over and over and over again to be able to even reproduce it. That is not yours. So what you need to do is that you need to read as much as you can, as widely as you can. This is not literary theory. In literary theory, they ask you to read intensively instead of extensively. In creative writing, we ask you to read extensively instead of intensively. The more you read, the more you are traveling. You understand? And the more you read, the more you want to communicate with other people. You don't want to be among those people who have stories but cannot tell their stories. You want to be among those people who, I pray, in 30, 40 years, say, I remember I will so welcome in my grave and hail you and go back to sleep.
Well, just as you've said in one of the interviews with Daily Trust newspapers, that your story compels your readership. Of course, this story compels readership from all angles. The length of the book is very catchy. The thematic preoccupation is timeless. Now, are we expecting a sequel from you, or that is the end of Yarinya?
Who taught you English? Are we expecting a sequel from you, or that is the end of Yarinya? Is she dead? Is Yarinya a book, or Yarinya the character? Yarinya the character is sealed and delivered. And you have read something that I almost forgot. The sparse writing, the brief writing, those who know my stories before, they used to be very lengthy. Now, because of the exigencies of the time, because of competition of internet, of telephone, of short stories, of play stores, believe me, every writer should aspire to master the art of the short story. People no longer have the time to read War and Peace. Most people don't. Even scholars now, they go to Wikipedia and look for summary. So what we do is that I hope this is the beginning. Yarinya is my first attempt to abbreviate a story that would otherwise have been very lengthy. Now, whether it is successful or not, you guys will decide. But what I am doing Ancestral Wrath, and Love in the Afternoon are all collections of 20 short stories. And as usual, my humble friend here, Professor Abu Ali, is usually the first person to read my books and tell me, whether, to my face, whether they are rubbish or worthy of his consideration. If he says I will read them tomorrow, I know they are bad. If he says keep them, I know that they are good. So the first issue from the press, sir, you are going to get them, and then you are going to give me the adequate recommendation as you did for Yarinya. So all of you, thank you very much for this wonderful audience.
Well, before we excuse him, it has been, I believe, a very fruitful discussion, and I believe all of you have enjoyed it. I would like to take just 3 questions from the audience, to be fair. If there are none, I will skip and then move to the next item. Just 3.
To help we in the 21st century to get to the world fame.
Understand your question. You think that maybe we, your so-called teachers, have gone there and were therefore blocking your chances. Madam, Mrs. Trump, come back. We have not finished with you. Your husband is not fasting. I think you are thinking of what arrangements are we making to ensure that the youth also enjoy what we have enjoyed. Believe me, when I was a student, I thought the only place I can see England was in a book. So when my teachers came back from England, I thought that is the end of the story. For me, I've seen somebody who has gone there. If I could go there, me from Giwa, you don't know, there are aspects of myself I refuse to talk about. Believe me, your life history is not half in terms of penury and poverty as mine. You don't want to know. Just accept me as I am, and thank God that you're in ABU, Zaria, and that one day you're going to be in England. I enjoin my readers to write about what they know best. The only culture I know excellently well is Hausa culture. Whatever I write is about Hausa culture. If you see from the performance, maybe it's the director's interpretation. But then again, Yarinya is a generic name. It's universal. Any girl in her situation, that's what we said earlier. She doesn't have to be Yoruba, she can be Igbo, she can be anywhere. So long as she's been oppressed by her parents because of money, or sugar daddies because of money, then Yarinya is for her.
Thank you.
First and foremost, if you are a writer and you have just written 4 pages, you understand? By my definition, you have not started. If you want to write, I told you what you need to do. It's not to write 4 pages. Before you arrive at those 4 pages, you must have, according to Stephen King, you might have written like 200 pages to get those 4 pages out. Do you understand? Because it's the best of the best of the best. If you're writing short stories, they must be stories that will make people worthy of the attack. Do you understand? You should not be in a hurry to get leadership. No, not at all. Then the second question is this. How do you get your book to be accepted in the academia? According to you need connection. No, sir. When we are coming in here, the god of books in this university, Professor Ibrahim Umar, who is the University Librarian, whom every book shivers when they hear his name, asked me, are you presenting the book again? I told him, sir, I have never presented any of my books. I have never done so. Public presentation and book presentations to me are not necessarily gauges by which you can weigh the quality of a book. If your book is good enough, give it to your friends, they will read it, they will recommend it. You understand? And above all, take it to the market. It will sell there. Believe me, I was in the university bookshop yesterday, and I saw a book titled House Helps, The Necessary Evil. I edited that book in 1988 when I was in the university press. The book was produced about 250 copies. The copies are still remaining in the bookshop because of the quality of the writing. The topicality is zero. The sense in the book is zero. You understand? So people just buy it for the sake of buying. So if your book is worthy of the name, people will buy it, definitely. You understand? It is why you want to make serious money. And by the way, stop thinking that you will make money if they recommend your book to JAM or NECO or SSCE. The moment they recommend your book to JAM or NECO, wallahi, before you produce 1,000 copies, one monkey will have produced 1 million copies. And then you are not there to even see, and you will use your name and your sources. So don't think you're going to make much money from there. Most of us, you see, we are living by the grace of God. I'm not saying that there is no money in books. No, there is. Definitely there is. I would not be looking the way I am if there was no money. Most of my people here are lecturers. You understand? I have bigger belly than them, not because I eat too much, but because I sell more books.
Thank you. Now we've come to the end of this session. Dr. Audee T, Giwa, we thank you enormously for honoring our invitation. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a brief comment to take goodwill messages from our invited guests, and that will mark the end of this activity, and we will all jump out of this place. Thank you for coming. MC.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, please can you just be patient for maybe 20 more minutes? Please take your seat. It's very disrespectful to walk out just like that. Take your seats, please, ladies and gentlemen, please. So please carry on. Sorry.
Okay, actually, like the MC has said, I'm representing the Director of Academic Planning, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. But on my personal capacity, I want to inform you that I first heard about this club 2 to 3 years ago, and since then, I've always wished that I should be a member of the club. I remember whether 1 or 2 of my children are members of this club, and when the director asked me to represent him, I felt very, very excited. I also remember that during my secondary school days, we used to have something similar to this, where we have our classmates that were very good in writing and reading. And of course, many of them were far, far better than us when it comes to a gathering like this. As a pharmacognosist, like you know, scientists are not good in writing. But some of us who are also interested in politics and association with the community, we also we appreciate participation in activities like this. So, on behalf of my director, who asked me to extend his goodwill message to you, I will first of all congratulate Dr. Audee T. Giwa for publishing this important book, which will not only modify our character, but also assist in our academic performance. Like it has been said, that it's going to be used for JETs. I also commend the organizers of this event, the Creative Writers Club, and I wish you a successful event. Thank you very much.
I'm very happy, to grace this occasion. I was not formally invited, but when I saw the poster in the library, I made it a point to attend for so many reasons. One, as the University Librarian, we are expected to, promote knowledge sharing and information seeking. And we are also concerned about the reading culture. In fact, in the library, we said our problem is not even the reading culture again, but even the research culture. So I'm glad to say that a young person like you came to the library with a good initiative. And right now, we have also formed another club that we call Go to Mind. and I wish to invite all of you to participate in that. Like the Dean mentioned, we are concerned now as university students, not of reading culture again or reading habit, because that is what you are expected to have imbibed right from secondary school. But what we are now concerned is about critical thinking now. And again, the Dean also mentioned that people should read widely and try to, he said criticize, but I'm not in English, I prefer the word critic. You know, even the scripture books, you don't criticize, but you critic. I don't know the difference anyway, but it's left to you, but that is my understanding. But we want to promote critical thinking. Our students now, they don't think very critically, even the way they answer their question. I don't want to bore you. I remember in this department, and this faculty of art, one student came out bragging that he answered all the questions. He is about to get A, even more than A. And then somebody asked him, which question? He said, that question on Kachia. Here he described the town, Kachia, everything. Somebody said, you are very useless. They didn't ask Kachia, they said Kachia. So you see, this is a result of critical thinking. People don't, first of all, you are not even taught Kachia. It's Kachia, events, AC writing. So to promote also critical thinking in the library now, we have established what we call board games courts. We provide chess, we provide Monopoly, Wikipedia, this and so on, so because we want our students to be thinking critically. So you are invited, because also we have seen researches that have shown the correlation between performance of those games and academic achievements. Secondly, also, I want to congratulate the author. He has been my friend right from our days. Like he mentioned, that I was not among those that were beating him. He just exaggerated. I know it's bigger than me, so that we don't go out and he now say he's going to revenge now. But we are told that why we are not encouraged to read adult chess is because they say the English was not good. So our teachers usually encourage us to read African writers. They say we now get acquainted to our culture and then good English and so on. So he knows. There was one of our teachers, Mr. Gaston, an American, very huge. One time he called me, he was speaking American English, I couldn't understand. They said, do you understand? I said, yeah. So he called me, look, yeah is not a good English. Say yes. And then I was used to that, I said, yeah. He said, I said, don't say yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So perhaps that was why we are running away from James Hard lectures and the rest. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that the library is happy to associate itself with this kind of program, and we want to continue to also promote the Writers Club, and we invite them also to come. We meet every Saturday in the Lion Common. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Senior Building Academic Planning Unit. My colleagues and students, thank you very much for this occasion. In brief, I want to say Audee is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. I will find time to explain that later, but because we are hurrying to break our fast, I'll just say thank you for gracing this occasion. I am inspired, and I want to register as honorary member of Creative Writers Club. Yes, I was barely 2-3 years as a graduate assistant in this university when I saw one young man in the early 80s, 83, thereabout, together with another fairly young man now in theater and performing arts, Rabiu Isa. The long and short is, I am happy to have associated with them, but I want to let you know one thing. All the positive things that he has learned, he proudly landed me. and those are the ones I want to exhibit. But right in his big belly, there are some other rods. I am not associated with those rods. Thank you very much. We'll meet again very soon. Inshallah.
We thank our distinguished guest, our colleague, Professor Audee T. Giwa, and we thank the students, the members of Creative Writers Club for their patience. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.